You have to go to alaska.zoom.us to get to the portal where you can log in. So on this screen, go ahead and click on the Sign In button. And when you do, enter in your credentials. You do have the option of not remembering your password, which is not common. Then you're going to see a screen kind of like this. You have your name at the top, the account number, and then your personal meeting ID. That's kind of like your phone number. What's really useful though is on this screen we have a schedule a meeting link up on the upper right and a join a meeting. If we join a meeting, then you just enter in the full URL or that meeting ID number. If we schedule a meeting instead, this brings us to the screen where we give our meeting a title, a description, and a date. You can choose the hour you want, AM versus PM, and the calendar is how you can shift between the month and the day. You can have the option of making this recur, and if you do recur it, is it going to recur daily? And you can repeat it every day, every 2 days. Just note that for our account level, you can only have one meeting on your account at a time. So do not schedule multiple meetings over each other. We don't usually do registration. If you want to, you can make a password, however. And if you enable this, so your password has to be under or up to 10 characters long. Under the video part, this kind of depends on your preference. So most people will actually have the participant video and audio off. And the reason for this is that you don't want people to log into the meeting and have their microphone going off and causing feedback immediately. The other important option to look at is to enable join before host. What this does is it allows people to actually use your Zoom link and test it out prior to the conference start. If this checkbox is not enabled, nobody can join your conference until you as the host initiate it first. I always check it. Alternative hosts are also useful. They have the ability to make other users a host, and they can moderate the participants. So they can add people, they can kick people out. Hosts are also able to share their screen. And so let's go ahead and schedule a conference for today. It'll be 1 hour. Time doesn't really matter because if you are in there for 5 hours, it will still go. This is just the official duration. And this is not going to be recurring. And we're not going to make them register ahead of time. And then save. So now we come to this new screen. We were under the schedule a meeting, right? So once you have a meeting made, it's going to appear in this meetings tab, which we're already in, but the My Meetings. So if I click on My Meetings, or even just Meetings right here, it goes to the same screen. So here is our default screen where all of your scheduled meetings will be in order, and you can start a meeting prematurely or delete the meeting whenever you want to. And of course, here is our meeting ID. So this is the number we're going to give people. Now, if you need to make a change, just go ahead and click on your topic. This is our title. And that takes you back to this screen here. You have your ID, you have your password. This is your join link that you can email to people. And then join before host and meet on entry. And right down here is the Edit This Meeting button. And we can also delete the meeting, save as a template for future, or start the meeting now. And you'll see that we can also add this to a Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, or a Yahoo Calendar. We use Google, so if I go to Google Calendar, it will want me to link the Zoom service to a Google account. And your option is yes or no. And then I can view and edit events on all of my calendars, or just the one. Make sure we trust Zoom, and we do for now, and then hit allow. We have a Google Calendar. So here is the Zoom link. Here are some of the details of the meeting and the phone number people can call if they want to. I can add guests to it. Pretty straightforward. You do have the option of recording a Zoom session only if you are the host or a co-host. If you are and you have saved the meeting in the cloud, then over in your Zoom webpage on the left, there is a recordings area. And this is where you will see all of the recordings. And you have a few options here. You can download them. Now, in addition to making a meeting template, you can come down to settings over here and actually apply those default behaviors from the get-go. So I can turn on join before host, and I will enable mute on entry. So now every conference I make, it will have these two options enabled. You can enable file transfer if you want to. You can add polls. So for screen sharing, who can share? Virtual whiteboard is very useful. Remote control is useful, and we use that a lot. If you enable remote control, you can open up the web browser, and that person can navigate to that YouTube video for you on your computer. So that way you're watching the video locally, not trying to watch a video being recorded on Zoom and then being played back to you as a video through Zoom. You can allow breakout rooms, and you can add closed captions by either having someone type the captions as the meeting progresses or using a third-party device. Far-end camera control, this is a feature carried over from more traditional video conferencing rooms. And then virtual background's pretty fun. It can be distracting, so usually it's off by default. Under here, when the meeting is being conducted, you have the option of live streaming it on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And that will be a setting inside the Zoom conference itself for the host. Zoom gives you lots of control. So under the schedule section, these will be all your meeting defaults whenever you make a conference. And then the in meeting is what you can do when it takes place. And then the advanced options, you can just go crazy. That's really the main part of Zoom. So schedule a meeting, join a meeting, and then the meetings that you do create or are a part of. Your personal meeting room is basically, again, your Zoom phone number. And then you're going to have here the host a meeting. This is the same thing as going to meetings and then going to your personal meeting room and then start meeting. This host a meeting is that shortcut. It will immediately open up the Zoom launcher and then begin your impromptu meeting.